It's a beautiful day today and we're back on the relationship subreddit. The last episodes we've done on here have been so fun. And yeah, to say I'm excited for this is an understatement. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like and subscribe and let me know down below. And let's get into it. Enjoy, guys. We have an update to the post that we read in the last episode. Update, my dad came to my apartment with gifts for 2 young kids. I do not have any kids. Hi everybody, I wanted to wait until I had more information to post an update, but a lot of people were seriously worried about my dad and I, so I wanted to let everybody know what happened. I finally found my dad. My uncle took him to the hospital the night of the incident and was, for reasons I'll get into, ignoring our calls and texts. Anyone who bet on head injury and drugs, you're correct. You can cash out your chips at the front counter, haha. There was no second family. I wish there was. My dad would just be in drama-related trouble and not medical trouble. He's got a massive concussion and serious brain damage. Oh God! Did not expect that. Doctors don't know how we managed to even drive to my apartment safely. They think he was on autopilot, since he takes that freeway nearly every day. The phantom kids are his co-workers. His brain somehow blended the details of his co-worker's life into his own. Co-worker has a daughter who's married and has 2 kids, and the memories of being told about the girls mashed together with memories of his own daughter. Doctor says this is pretty common with head injuries. My uncle did find my dad and took him to the hospital. He did drive out to my area and scour the place looking for my dad, and eventually found his car outside Walmart around 10 p.m. Couldn't find him outside, but did find him out behind the building harassing an employee for a cigarette. He grabbed my dad and kind of dragged him into the car and took him to the hospital. He just decided not to update anybody because he didn't want to stress us out. I don't believe him at all. I think my uncle is responsible for what happened to my dad and was avoiding us out of guilt. After I posted here, I went to work, and once I was clocked out, I went to my dad and uncle's place. Dad and uncle's cars were gone. Only my aunt was there. I went and knocked, but nobody answered. People in my last post mentioned carbon monoxide poisoning, and I was kind of freaking out thinking that my aunt was just dead inside. So I went around the house testing the doors and windows to see if I could get in. The back door was unlocked, so I just let myself inside and I looked around. Totally empty. I even checked underneath the bed since a couple of people mentioned my dad could be paranoid or scared and hiding. My aunt has this giant purse and it wasn't there, which confirmed to me that she was probably with my uncle. I went back and I sat in my car and I started calling any hospitals and jails that came up on Google Maps. Nobody had any answers and just said that he wasn't there. I even called the police for a wellness check just to see if maybe they could call around hospitals and get a different answer, but I waited until 11 p.m-ish and literally nobody came. No police, no family, nobody. I drive back home and I try to get some sleep. Next day I call out of work and I spend the day driving around my area trying to find my dad. Couldn't track him down, so I started calling hospitals again. There's 3 in my area, and while 2 of them gave me no, he's not here, sorry, one of them got really nervous over the phone and said, I'm not supposed to give out patient information. I got suspicious. I kept on asking and she just got more and more flustered. I hung up and I drove my ass over there, and I saw my uncle's car in the parking lot. It was kind of late, the sun was down, but I wasn't keeping track of time, so there were only like 5 cars in the visitor area, and his was one of them. I don't have any words to describe what I was feeling, but it was mostly just rage. Like, what the hell? Hello? He's been here the whole time. I went in and I tried to get the receptionist to let me see my dad. She didn't really want to let me, and I'm not proud of it, but I started freaking out. I slammed my hands on the desk, I screamed, I knocked over a magazine rack. I guess my tantrum made somebody go talk to my uncle and aunt since she came out of the waiting room, and she told the receptionist it was fine to let me through. If she didn't look so tired and sad, I was gonna maul her, but the look on her face made me calm down, if you can call it that. Long story short, she took me to my dad's room. He looked terrible. None of you know my dad, but he's a beast. He's 5'11" with massive smile lines and bright shining eyes. He's my dad, so I'm biased, but he's always so full of life. Laying in that hospital bed, he looked dead already. Sunken eyes, lifeless and droopy face. He looked empty. I was able to talk to him for a bit, but he was totally out of it. He had to be reminded who I was several times and kept forgetting where he was and why he was there. And just like my dad, when I get upset, I get angry. I practically dragged my uncle out of the room into the hallway for an explanation. After like 20 minutes of him making excuses and beating around the bush, another reason I think he's guilty, he told me what happened. Apparently Monday morning, my dad fell getting out of his car and cracked his head really hard against the driveway. He got up and everyone thought he was fine, so they just went inside the house as normal. After a while, he had a headache, so they gave him a couple of prescription painkillers to ease the pain. Apparently that worked, so they let him continue his day as normal. They only got concerned when I called and told my uncle what happened. He kept being so weird and evasive that I know there's more, but I couldn't wring his stupid neck in the hospital hallway, so I let it go. Here's what I think happened. I know my uncle and dad, and I know the history of this stupid family like the back of my hands. I think my dad and uncle got in a fight over something, and dad was either pushed down or hit in the head by my uncle. uncle. The altercation gets resolved somehow and they go back to normal, but my dad's head still hurts. I learned at the hospital from the doctor that there were enough painkillers in his body to numb a horse, so I suspect that my aunt and uncle just kept feeding him painkillers so they wouldn't need to take my dad to the hospital and admit what they did. I pressed my aunt about the painkillers and she eventually halfway admitted that they weren't exactly allowed to have them at all. I suspect that she bought them off somebody else. They're likely addicted and I just didn't know. I'm almost 100% sure this is their fault. If they'd taken my dad to the hospital as soon as he hit his head, he would probably be okay. I'm staying at the hospital now and my aunt and uncle have left. Doctor says to not get my hopes up about my dad, but when doctors say that, it always means he'll actually be okay, right? That's how it always goes. They tell you that your family member probably won't make it, but they always prove them wrong. I'm sorry, but the rest of this is just going to be me venting. You know what really gets me? I could handle all this. I could understand it. My uncle and aunt have always been less than reliable. I can believe that this could come from them. The hardest part is the lack of concern from literally anybody but me. I had to blackmail my brother, drama from a year ago, to even get him to agree to fly out. My mum doesn't care. Dad's family doesn't care. My sister kinda cares, but she doesn't really want to help or even come support me in the hospital with him. I'm just so shocked that I'm the only one here for my dad, and he doesn't even know who I am at the moment. I have to take time off work, but it's not like my job gives me paid time off. I'm screwed. My dad is screwed. My life is screwed. Why am I the only one dealing with this? My brother is the only one of us with time and money to help fix it, and I had to threaten him just to get him to come back home. I wish I had chased my dad when he left my apartment. I was afraid of him, but I'm even more afraid now. My dad's probably gonna die, and I trusted the jackass who killed him with helping him. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with everybody? Why doesn't anybody give a crap about my dad? Why doesn't anybody give a crap about me? I could have been a better daughter to him. I could have visited more and called more, involved him in things more. I could have chased him when he left my apartment. I might have gotten hurt, but I would rather get hurt than be sitting in a hospital room with my unconscious and probably dying father. I'm so stupid, and I'm sorry, Dad. I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry about all of this, OP. The top comment says, yo, definitely get the police involved. Even if the story is true that he fell, they still pumped him up with pain medications when he couldn't advocate for himself. It's like being roofied at a bar. I hope your dad pulls through. I'd cut contact with your aunt and uncle. As a daughter, you have more rights to your dad's care than they do. Ban them from the hospital. OP said, on this, a couple of cops just came to talk to me and get a statement. They seemed to be taking me seriously and took my contact information. I told them everything about what happened when dad came to my apartment and what my uncle said and how I didn't believe him, and I gave my version of things. I tried to give as much context as I could. I think they did believe me, but who knows? They said they'd come around again soon. I'm not really sure what happens from here, but I'll be pressing for more information when they come back. The next one is called Considering Leaving My Fiance Over Comments That She Made About My Cousin. I'm 30 male, my fiance is 27 female, my cousin is 30 female. My cousin and I are very close. Our mums are identical twins, so we grew up more like siblings. My cousin is married and has been for like 7-ish years, and they've been trying to have a baby for 6-ish years. They do have a daughter via adoption, but they have no biological children. She has miscarried several times, and I know this to be a fact because I was the one called to clean up the blood before she made it home, so she wouldn't have to see it. She struggles with it a lot, and the mention of anybody being pregnant upsets her. She smiles about it to them, but she normally cries when it's just us talking. I've done my best to be there for her because she's like a sister to me. She miscarried again back in December and ended up having to have several surgeries, hopefully to fix the problem. I know she's been seeing a specialist and she is hopeful. However, she didn't say much to me about anything. She didn't call, which was unusual, but I just assumed that she didn't want to talk about it at the time. My fiance and I were talking about miscarriages and fertility stuff because one of her friends had miscarried and my cousin came up. My fiance laughed and said that my cousin has never actually miscarried. She's just making it up for sympathy and trying to get attention. What? My cousin hates attention and people feeling sorry for her. She says that it makes her feel really awkward. Only a few people in the family know about her miscarriages. Nobody extended knows, just us, my parents, hers and me, and our grandparents. She's never once tried to get attention. I asked my fiance why she would say that, and she said my cousin obviously wants my attention, and that's why she's always crying to me and nobody else. She also said that she has confronted her about it. My cousin never told me my fiance had ever said anything to her about it. My fiance also said a few other really awful things about my cousin that were creepy, implying that we'd had a sexual or emotional relationship. What? I was absolutely disgusted because again, she's like my sister. But not only that, we are very related. That's gross. Anyway, now that I've been thinking about it, I've remembered several odd times that my fiance has been rude to my cousin and has pulled me away from talking to her at pretty much every family event. This doesn't sit right with me and I'm completely rethinking my relationship. I'm not sure if we should have another discussion or not, or if I should just end it because I don't know if I can trust her around my cousin again. My cousin's been hurt enough. She doesn't need somebody mocking her or telling her that she's lying. I'm not sure what to do here. I'm not sure if we should have another conversation about it or if I should just move on. This whole thing doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, that's revolting, OP. The top comment says, this is absolutely worth breaking up over. It's weird and gross enough that she's jealous of your cousin. It's weird and gross enough that she thinks that your cousin is lying about having miscarriages. And it's absolutely hateful and unhinged that she's confronted a grieving woman to accuse her of lying about having them. Yeah, that's wild. There's a comment here that says, I have to agree with the consensus. She is, in plain English, a heartless biatch. It's bad enough to imply that you have an inappropriate relationship with your cousin, but to go to her and tell her that she's lying about something so traumatic is unexceptionable. You need to get rid of her and then go to your cousin and beg for her forgiveness and tell her you had no idea she did what she'd done. And OP said, I was planning to go see her tomorrow and apologize. I also want to know what exactly was said to her. I don't know if she thinks I knew it or not, or if she thinks I had something to do with it too. Yeah, wow, how awful. It's an intense episode today. The next one is called My Husband 30 Male Intends to Ask Me 29 Female to Open the Marriage. How do I tell him I have no intention of letting him near my future baby, or me for that matter? A throwaway account because my husband knows my Reddit handle. I've also changed names just to diminish the chances of him finding me. He's not abusive, but I have no intentions of letting him find out what I intend to do before I do it. I guess I'm looking for advice on what to do. Victor and I met 5 years ago and we've been married for almost 3. When we were dating, I told him that under no circumstances would I condone cheating. If he cheated and I found out about it, that's it. I'd cut off all contact and he'd never see or hear from me again. If we were married and or have kids, we'd only go through lawyers. He told me he was happy I had standards and the past 5 years were great. Not perfect, but I believed we were happy. We decided to try for a baby last year. My due date is in 16 weeks. I was over the moon happy and I believed he was too. He told me when we were dating that he didn't care if we had only boys, but he always wanted to have at least one little girl for him to pamper and spoil. When we learnt the baby was a girl, he cried and told me I was the best wife in the world. That was until last weekend. Victor went out to get groceries but left his phone in our room by accident. I decided to take it down to the kitchen so he wouldn't be scrambling looking for it when he got home. As I was walking to the kitchen, a text message popped up. It was from his work wife, Alicia, 31 female. It said, quote unquote, so the plan's on. I don't know why, but something about this made me suspicious. Victor's the type of man who uses the same passcode for everything, so I was able to access his phone. Well, I checked the messages and I learnt that he intended to ask me to open the relationship so he and Alicia can start going out. What? I've never met an open relationship that's ever worked out, and a number of people I've talked to have told me that an open relationship is usually because somebody is already cheating and wants to continue guilt-free or has somebody in the wings, and it's clear that if he and Alicia aren't sleeping together, they certainly intend to. I was able to get screenshots of the text messages going back as far as I could, and I sent them to myself. I've also packed a bag and headed to my older brother's, Oliver 32 Male's house. He opened his doors to me when I told him what happened. As I didn't want Victor to know that I know, I just left a note saying that Oliver had an unexpected emergency and I headed over to help him. Victor asked me to stay in contact and that he loved me. I have an appointment with a lawyer in a few days. Honestly, I feel disgusted. This man knew the whole time that I'm not going to play these kind of games, and he went ahead and decided to mess around and find out, but I don't want to play my hand just yet. Maybe I'm being petty, but I want to catch him as off guard as he caught me off guard. I don't want my baby to be around a man who believes it's okay to make a promise to be loyal and faithful, but then decide to break it to chase some tail. What kind of message does that send to a child, especially a girl? I don't care if he wins Father of the Year, he still thinks it's okay to treat the woman he vowed to love, cherish, and honor for the rest of his life like a side piece. Victor has been trying to call and text me, asking if I'm okay. Oliver has been texting him back as me because I don't think I can even talk to Victor without blowing my top. What do I do now? How do I tell him that not only did he choose Alicia over me, but I don't want my baby to grow up believing this kind of thing is okay? Yeah, like the top comment says, what do I do now? You speak to an attorney and follow their advice. Then you get some therapy to prepare yourself to co-parent, because in most instances, even a cheating spouse doesn't lose all access to their child. Yeah, wow, said it was an intense episode after the last post. It's becoming an even more intense episode. I'm so sorry you have to deal with this, OP. So gross and heartbreaking. Yeah, and like this comment says, you cool down and you don't do anything until you speak to a lawyer. You also research co-parenting because, like it or not, that's the boat for the next 18 years. And the parental alienation game will mess up a kid quick. Yeah, 100%. Oh, so sad. The next one is called My 26 Female Fiance 29 Male Cancelled the wedding 1 week before the ceremony. What do I do next? My 26 Female Fiance 29 Male cancelled our wedding 1 week before the ceremony. He'd said he'd been having a build-up of a nervous feeling over the past 3 months, and he finally decided that he can't go through with it. He said he feels like getting married would mean that he's trapped for the rest of his life. He decided he wanted a short break, so I went to stay with my parents. 4 days later, he texted me asking if I could come home and that he misses me and that he loves me. He's arranged to see a psychologist and counselor. Chiefly, he wants to figure out 1, why this happened. 2, does he want to marry me at all or just not want to marry me? 3, does he still want to have kids at all, or or is it just that he doesn't want to have kids with me? I thought it might be worth mentioning that he has always told me that he wanted a family previously, and this is all coming as a surprise for me. For context, we've been dating for the past 3.5 years. How should I be feeling about this? What should I do next? Should I continue living with him while he figures this out? Should I go on a long holiday somewhere else while he figures this out? Should I leave him for good once and for all? Yeah, like this comment says, it's a freak out. Go on holiday, find yourself for a while. There's really no coming back from that level of letting you down, in my opinion. Cancelling a wedding and withdrawing from an engagement is not to be taken lightly. Yeah, definitely. And like the top comment says, go on the honeymoon alone. Let him work through his problems by himself. Sounds like you were just blindsided. He can get therapy, but holding his hand while you bleed out is not a fair ask. No, definitely not. But yeah, I do feel like you need to get out of there, OP. That's so sad, but yeah, I don't feel like you can really be with them anymore, can you? This comment says, don't take him back. Go on your vacation and grieve and figure out what disentangling your life looks like. This man is not capable of being your partner in any way that'll benefit you in the long run. Get out of there now. The next one is called I 21 female caught my friend 21 female kissing my husband's 25 male neck while I was asleep. Okay, this is going to be the last one for today. My husband and I have been married for 2 years, together for 3. This just happened about 5 years ago, and I'm not sure how to feel or what to believe. For context, my friend comes over to drink and hang out every once in a while, and when she does, we let her sleep in the guest room so she doesn't have to drive home drunk. Last night, we all decided to watch a movie in bed. I fell asleep after maybe an hour. At about 4 a.m, I felt them both move off the bed, so it woke me up. My husband said he went to go and get water, and my friend said she had to use the bathroom. After they got back onto the bed, I was awake, but with my eyes closed. I noticed the movie got louder, and then I heard a kissing noise. I turned over slowly, and I saw my friend caressing my husband from behind and giving him kisses on his neck while he watched the movie. Oh. Once she realized I saw her, she froze, quickly moved her hands, and we stared at each other for a good 30 seconds. Eventually, I asked her what was going on. She swore that it was nothing and that nothing happened. My husband initially said the same. After about an hour and a half for the truth, he told me that he didn't know the kisses were for him and that he froze and didn't know what to do. Oh no, get rid of both of them, OP. When I asked him why it took him so long to tell me the truth, he said it was because he was afraid of how my friend would react. I don't know if I should believe him or not. No, definitely not. She kissed him twice that I know of, and he has a history of lying to me. Oh my god. No. You don't need either of these people, OP. My friend was quiet the whole time I was trying to get the truth out of my husband. Eventually, I told her to leave my house. She left and my husband got upset at me for being mad at him for what happened. What? Personally, I think that he shouldn't have let it get to that point in the first place. He said that she caught him by surprise, but eventually confessed that she first rubbed him on his back and told him it's okay. After that, she sat directly behind him, hugged him from behind, and started to kiss him on the neck multiple times. He said that she was probably just comforting him because she noticed he was upset because him and I have been having issues lately. I feel like they both have fault. She was insanely wrong for doing that and he was wrong for letting her. I don't know. He says I'm messed up for getting mad at him and not her, which is not true. I'm mad at both of them. I'm not sure how to go about this. Part of me wants to call it quits, but the other half of me feels bad for not believing him. Edit, he's now claiming that she SA'd him and he's not pressing charges. Edit number 2, thank you for all the overwhelming love and support. We've mutually decided that this relationship is not the best to continue. I appreciate every single one of you that have left a comment giving me support, advice, and love. Hopefully the next chapter of my life will be a better one. Yeah, like this comment says, girl, your husband and your friend are having an affair, point blank. He laid out every single cheap trick in the book. Stonewalling, deflection, he was upset and you're falling for it. Do you know the level of audacity it takes for your friend to start making out with your husband in the same bed as you? She would have never tried that if they didn't have an established relationship. Yeah, definitely get rid of both of them. And I know that's what's happening, but oh, OP, that's awful. Yeah, I'm so happy you're not staying with somebody like that, OP. That's disgusting. And also disgusting quote-unquote friend as well. And yeah, that's enough for today. We definitely need something wholesome. My mum's cat was acting sick, so we went to the vet. Turns out she is healthy, but she's jealous of the attention that I'm getting. I'm sick, so we're acting like she's the sick one so she won't be jealous anymore. Oh, cute. Cats are so beautiful. And this is so nice to read after everything we've read today. That was by far the most intense episode we've had in a long time. Have crush on her. Send her a love meme and prepare for rejection. She sends one back. She sends one back. Oh, cute. That's so beautiful. When your mum brushes your hair and tells you what a handsome boy you are, when you know damn well it's the truth. I am so handsome. Like, thank you for saying it, but we already knew this. Top tip to make a ghost less scary, just add the letter P. Boo. No, boop. Oh, cute. That one's by Comics by Night, and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time, and I hope today's episode wasn't too much. If you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Maya. Yay, choosing beggars on my birthday. I mean, any Vincey is a good birthday present, but annoyed Vincey is always fun. Oh, yay, happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day. And yeah, your birthday and choosing beggars all on the same day. That's a good day. Thank you guys so much for all the support. It means so much to me. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!